Good afternoon, everyone. This is Ben speaking, also known as Fusebox. I am trying a different approach with my channel today. I decided to go professional on y'all. This entire time, I have been holding out on every last one of you. I have had the ability to make higher quality videos this entire time. So I've decided to give it a totally new approach. Today is the final day to get Outlaw Knights, Genesis of a Renegade, the first of 6 issues of a comic book series. This is our final day. Around 3 a.m. is when the campaign is going to end. As of this moment, we are short by roughly around $4,800. So, the odds of us funding this time around are astronomically slim. But I'm going to take some heart. Number one, I think the fact that I was able to fund over $2,000 on my first attempt crowdfunding, where I'm literally a nobody on the internet, that gives me some encouragement. Because it tells me that the quality of the book is enough to win people over. And that's ultimately what I wanted, but it looks like I'm gonna have to take the extra steps. So here we are. So, yesterday in my little cell phone video I made for y'all, well, first of all, I was trying to add my new intro and outro to that video. And of course, after hours of playing around and rendering and sending it to this computer, to that computer, I ended up learning that I couldn't add my intro or my outro to it because it was in the wrong aspect ratio for that. YouTube has a policy. What do I know? I am going to be doing this video differently, as well as most of my future videos. Chances are I probably won't be able to do a daily upload this way, in the same way I had been doing. But I think that's alright. So yesterday, in my video that I was shooting, I was talking about how I just got the full series of Xena Warrior Princess on DVD. How excited I was about it. A couple years ago, I came up with an idea for sort of an action satire that was going to draw on sources like Hercules, The Legendary Journeys, and Xena Warrior Princess. And of course, Walker, Texas Ranger, which is the best example of non-deliberate hilariousness that I can think of from TV. I started watching some of Xena again. I've seen it before, but it's been a while. So I started watching it again to kind of compare it in my mind to Hercules, because I've seen Hercules way more than I've seen Xena, mostly because I thought Hercules was the lesser of the two products. I thought it was kind of funnier. But watching Xena again, I realized Xena is really just as absurd and just as ridiculous as Hercules is. And I think I was just kind of booty blinded, because I had such a crush on Lucy Lawless. I didn't realize just how, it was pretty much in the same exact vein of camp. The main difference, I think, between the two that kind of threw me off was the fact that Lucy Lawless gives a much more dynamic performance than Kevin Sorbo gave. I think Kevin Sorbo was going for just the I'm the buff, awesome looking hero spiel. And Lucy Lawless was legitimately trying to make this character serious, albeit in a very campy, light-hearted kind of universe. I mean, most of the problems on the show, like the issues that they face in every episode, are not what I would call lighthearted. It involves bandits or war bands, scouring the countryside, burning and pillaging, and Xena or Hercules has to stop them. But it was done in this kind of they would go for these this kind of, I guess, humor, I would call it, but it wasn't really humor. It was so on the nose. It was so easy, and it was very unfunny. It was very cringy, I would say. Particularly when they dealt with Hercules' sidekick, Aeolus. He he fell into that sidekick archetype from pretty much every 90s action show. He's there to make Hercules look better. And while they try to write some storylines where it's like they show like, oh, Aeolus feels overshadowed by Hercules. He feels like Hercules takes up all the glory, and Aeolus helps out just as much as Hercules does. He gives it his all, blah blah blah. And so you have like a couple of episodes where like they throw him a bone, and it's like, oh, see, Aeolus is a hero after all, even though everything he does is like 90% lame, especially compared to Hercules, who saves the day without even thinking about it. But he's mainly there, and it's the biggest reason, of course, is Kevin Sorbo is tall and he's buff, and he's Hercules. As for the sidekick in Xena, she was kind of different. But, I mean, she still kind of fell into a few of those familiar tropes that you could see, where she's very much Xena's number one fangirl, in that, like, most of the episodes start off with her swooning and kissing Xena's ass in some fashion, or her being kind of particular and petulant about something. Over time, she became more valuable to the story. But she was still very much kind of, the Xena equivalent for Aeolus, but they didn't make her quite as absurd or quite as silly or non-consequential, whatever. But yeah, both of these shows, I highly recommend watching them if you're the type of person who likes to laugh at 90s tropes in action shows. I 100% recommend this. I love it. I love it to death, mainly because it's so bad. Well, it's not too bad. Maybe I'm being a little mean, but I can't help it. Oh, and the best is seeing one of the guest stars on both shows, who appeared multiple times, was good old Ash from Evil Dead. Bruce Campbell, giving us some classic Bruce Campbell in a setting that's supposed to be mythical ancient Greece. There's a traveling salesman who's supposed to be like a walking stereotype for, I guess, well, you'll see. And, it's funny how the shows really build up at first. You get this feeling of seriousness from the gods, and it doesn't pay off at all, because when they finally introduce the gods in the flesh, they make them out to be kind of like sitcom-y type characters, so it completely undercuts any of the drama of the previous episodes. But anyway, that's gonna do it for me today. Remember, guys, if you like anything I have to say, go ahead, hit the like button. Go ahead, hit the subscribe button. If you think you can help us pull off a last-minute miracle, go ahead and click on the link in the description below to go to Indiegogo and back Outlaw Nights issue number 1 today. And as always, I shall talk to you all tomorrow.